What's more, I don't think I would feel particularly guilty for not getting involved in Kyle's situation, depending on the answers to those questions. However, turn Kyle into Carla, and the situation feels much different. Throw the possibility of honor into the mix, and you're off to the races. In my estimation, that kind of high-sounding language is poor recompense for a life cut short. In any case, when men do feel guilty for not getting involved, when, like Cain, they feel ashamed that their sacrifice has been rejected by women as insufficient, that's the programming speaking. And the solution is for men to recognize it as such and to turn away from death and sacrifice and toward life and abundance and prosperity. Like, I am going to take the radical position that my life is no less valuable than a woman's, or that my hopes and dreams are any less valuable than a woman's. I like my life. I really do. I want to live a long and happy and healthy life. I am not convinced, simply as an accident of my birth, that I should be a vessel of self-sacrifice for the other gender. Furthermore, I'm going to argue what most women implicitly understand, namely that a life without honor, which is not the same thing as a life with dishonor, that a life without honor is preferable to a death with honor. Life, my brothers, is a precious thing. And I would argue that the life of a man, literally or figuratively, is not any less precious on the basis of his gender. There will be more peace and justice and equality in the world the more this is accepted as true. And as I said, this might be a tough sell for men because men like honor. Men like glory. So do I. However, my argument is that these words are too often used like bullfighters' capes. They lead men right into the sword. For instance, many men would proudly die for their women. That is no small thing. But just how many of these men would live for them? Like, how many of these men are healthy and they take care of themselves so that they can live for as long as possible, that they can have as many resources and be abundant and share with the women in their lives? How many of them are focused on that versus sacrificing what they currently have? As courageous as it is to die in the service of an ideal, it is often much harder to live in the service of that same ideal. And what these men might be escaping through their sacrifice is an invitation to an even higher calling, an invitation not to death, but to life. To be healthy and virtuous and strong and powerful and abundant and prosperous. Like, these are classical virtues, the kind of virtues that existed before Christianity, which functionally argues, through the example of Christ, that self-sacrifice in the service of others is the highest ideal to which men can attain. My point in closing is not that this is entirely wrong. That's a very good thing. My point is that this ideal can be so easily exploited by others, and that men should be very clear about what exactly they are sacrificing and why. Life demands more than death. It's often the harder choice, which is why men can be so loath to choose it.